From the boroughs of New York to the Borough Gardens in Dorchester, Dorset, England, we continue. And look at this. What's going on here? A little fundraiser. Speak to Jack Daniels, a familiar name to Americans. Jack Daniels! How are you, Jack?
I'm really good, thank you.
Good. So what's going on here today, Jack?
Absolutely fantastic, yet again. Brilliant. Another 1,000 people, we think. So,
And what are you raising money for?
it's the Steve Charles Help a Friend Fund. So we're just raising money for local people who are in need of help, and we're there to help them. So anybody knows anyone that needs any help, give us a shout, and we'll help anybody.
Cool. And then what's going on? What's the score? What's happening today in the Borough Gardens?
We got I think 12 bands going on. It's not a fundraiser. It's an awareness. We need people to be aware of the charity, aware that what we do in the charity locally, and see people having a great time while we're making awareness. So it's a brilliant day. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. And you got turnout beyond your expectation?
Every year I say that, and every year it gets better and better and better. And this is the best year so far. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, brilliant.
Excellent. And what's going on right now? People holding hands in front of your stage?
I'm not quite sure what that was about. I missed all that one, but I think the idea is what we try and do is we just say we remember absent friends, people that we have lost dear to us that are not with us anymore. This is a good reason to come here and remember people we've lost. So yeah, and I think that's what that was about. So yeah.
Oh, look at that! Nice crowd here today. Good bands. Who's that?
Gaz Brookford on next, who's a legend. Absolutely fantastic. So.
Excellent, excellent. And the weather was good for you too, eh?
It was perfect. Wasn't too hot, so they never went to the beach. They all come here, which is great.
Okay, Jack, we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I can't drink cider anymore. Wine's hours well, I pick up whiskey's fine.
Steve Wilson of the Wilsons. And what are you doing here today, Steve?
Oh, we're doing a show at about 4 o'clock. So I'm just waiting to find the rest of the band. I'm trying to avoid very dodgy people, but it looks like I've failed.
and so what do you think about the turnout today?
Great, isn't it? Brilliant. English weather, perfect.
Not too hot, not too cold, as Jack said.
And it's nearly not too wet yet. So, yeah.
Very good. All right, we'll see you on stage.
See you later, Joe.
All right, here listening to the music in the Borough Gardens in Dorset, England, in the county town of Dorchester. I came across Simon, and that is he has started a record label many years ago called Pink Hedgehog.
20 years ago, in fact. Can't believe it. It's the 21 years. This year's our 21st anniversary.
21 years, the label Pink Hedgehog, and one of his bands is playing here today. As a matter of fact, he's in the band as well. And what else does Pink Hedgehog do?
Yeah, it's a rule. I have to be in the band, otherwise you don't stand a chance on Pink Hedgehog. That's one of the rules. I write into the contracts. I have to be a band member.
Well, I think he's joking on that one, folks. And tell us some of the music you have on that label, Simon.
Well, probably the most exciting thing at the moment is there's a band called Gothic Chicken, who's an amazing band with some phenomenal players in, and they recorded this album a few years ago, and it's almost got to mythical status, and it's finally being released this year on Pink Hedgehog, and it's gonna get the full vinyl treatment. It's coming out on heavy weight gatefold vinyl, and it's called Gothic Chicken Lift the Cobweb Veil, and it's psychedelic pop, really clever, really melodic, loads of harmonies, lots of weirdness, and it's going to be possibly the best thing I've ever released.
Wow, excellent. So 21 years. So your record label started with vinyl, went to CDs and back to vinyl?
I was 4 years old when I started the label. Sorry, what was the question?
You're back to a vinyl release. So when you started your label, was it vinyl or CDs?
No, actually, we started out releasing cassettes because that was the most affordable, practical option. And all it was, because I'm local lad, Weymouth, and we had such a phenomenal music scene in Weymouth, and a lot of my favourite bands, I wanted to have something to take home with me at the end of the night, something so I can play their music the next day. And so I started recording some of the local bands just on a big old Porter studio thing I had, and we started releasing cassettes of the local bands, and that sort of progressed to our first CD release. I think it was '96, and then of course cassettes finished, CD took over, CDs went down, digital started going up, and now with things like Spotify and streaming, the digital sales are going down. So we've gone complete full circle, and now we've got this kind of backlash happening now, and vinyl seems to be certainly a lifeline. It's almost like people fighting back against the digital revolution. So, you know, that's what we're doing now. We had our first vinyl release earlier this year. A chap called Peter Lacey, like a Brian Wilson sort of inspired singer-songwriter. And now the Gothic Chicken vinyl will be happening in the autumn. But I probably should mention the Wilson album, because that's really what... otherwise, Steve won't give me my travel expenses for today's gig if I don't... it's written in, I have to mention Wilson in any conversations with the press or media.
Anything to do with the fact that you're in the Wilson band?
Absolutely. But that's what we're here today for, is a Wilson gig. And we've been recording an album called Old School New Rules. And up in a lovely studio up in Hampshire. And I can say, even though I'm in the band, I can honestly say it's the best thing Steve's ever done. It's the best songs he's ever written, and it's the best album he's ever done. And I'm very proud to have a small role in it, both musically and from a label point of view as well.
Well, excellent. Thank you, Simon. I wish you luck on that album and the other release. And today on stage, we'll get a little of you playing. See you then.
Joe, thanks. It's amazing who you bump into in the Borough Gardens in Dorchester, isn't it?
There you go. Alrighty. And I got Stevie Garden here, who moved to this area. How many years ago was that, Steve?
26 years ago.
26 years ago with a group called
The Little Green Men.
Right. And the man behind you, Steve Wilson, was in that original band.
Yeah.
And you're still making music, and music is your living today, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah. I play with a couple of bands and a duo. I've got a duo. We do original stuff, and I play with a Crack, which was a bit of a train wreck earlier, but hey ho.
And so when you came down here 26 years ago, you were a bunch of lads in a band. And tell me the story quickly. How'd you wind up staying?
Well, because we came from the Midlands, it was just a really nice place to be compared to the Midlands. We were by the sea, which we loved, and I'll never leave the sea now. And it was just, you know, a really nice place to be. So we ended up staying, lots of gigs and things. And before you know it, 26 years has gone by.
And you've made your living from music that whole 26 years?
Yeah. But branching out into teaching a little bit now. So
teaching music?
Teaching music, yeah, and guitar, but mainly gigging, yeah. But it's, you know, it's the gigging slowed down a little bit, where that's where the teaching's creeped in.
Well, great though. I mean, not many people can make their lives from their passions, and here you are playing today. Well, you played today. You opened up for the concert tonight.
We started at 12 o'clock, so we kicked the whole thing off, and now it's time to have a drink.
Very good. Well, Stevie, thank you very much, and we'll look for you. And the name of your duo?
Trip. That's like a jazz guitar duo, and we do original stuff as well.
Do you have any stuff up on YouTube or where people can watch you?
No, we haven't. We've got a website that you can, and we can look up on Facebook as well, and you can listen to us on there.
And that's just Trip. How do I look it up?
Do you know what, Joe? I've got no idea. I'm not a businessman, but if you put in, I think www.trip-guitars, you'll get Trip.
Okay, and from my experience with Stevie's guitar, people, it's well worth listening and giving that a listen to. Stevie, have a good day. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and thanks for kicking off this lovely concert on the green.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, so I'm still here at the festival in the Borough Gardens. Look at that lovely clock there. People all around enjoying themselves. And I'm speaking here with Tim. Tim, I don't know your surname. Tim Wheeler. Tim Wheeler, and he's also with one of the bands playing here today. And he's a drummer, but we were talking for a while about the cajon. He plays the cajon, and I'll let him explain a little bit more what that is. So Tim, how has the cajon changed your life, and what is it actually?
It's a wooden box that I sit on and I drum with my hands, and it's changed my life in the fact that I don't have a whole drum kit to set up, so no cymbals, no drums, no pedals, no hardware. I just turn up with my cajon, sit down, play. Simple as that.
Cajon sounds like a Spanish name, so where does it get its origins?
It is Spanish. During the slave trade, the slaves were not allowed to play any musical instruments, so they found ways to play instruments that they were allowed to get away with. So they used to sit on a tea chest and drum with their hands, and it kind of progressed from there. And the word cajon comes from a Spanish word that means box, wooden box. So that's where it comes from.
Wow, and the sounds you get out of that, in a gig like here today, I mean, could you actually be the sit-in drummer and people would appreciate the music as much?
Yeah, definitely. I wish I had the cajon with me and I could show you. I could do a little demonstration. But there's a lot of different techniques involved. How you cup your hand, whereabouts you play on the box. You can get a bass drum sound, a snare sound, a hi-hat sound, all sorts. Yeah, fingers open, fingers closed. There's loads of different sounds you can get from the cajon. And if I had it here, I could show you, but unfortunately, I don't.
Oh well, I'll be seeing you drumming later on. I look forward to that, Tim. Thank you for the little enlightenment on the cajon.
No worries. Cheers, Joe. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Well, Tim will be playing drums later on. He's getting called off for a beer by a friend. There you go. Receiving it gracefully. Sunday afternoon in the Borough Gardens, Dorchester. Okay, Borough Gardens going to be ending with a tune by the Wilsons. Very nice.